Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Panda Spin Mandate of Heaven. This is the expansion to Panda Spin, which I've already reviewed on the channel, and I've overall enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. My one complaint about the game was that it wasn't really variable at all. It was kind of the same exact game every single time you played it, and Mandate of Heaven feels like it's literally designed to handle that exact criticism. You see, Panda Spin is ultimately a game about managing your hand of cards. In fact, maybe I should show you some cards. I didn't think this through over here. But the basic idea of Panda Spin, if I can get the box top off, would be that it is a hand-shedding game. You're going to be given a hand of cards, and then you're trying to make your sets to be able to basically shed your cards. So we have these cards over here, and you notice they have different sides to them because they have their default white side, which is the less powerful side, but then they have their blue side, which are usually stronger. For example, a single 8 is not as good as 3 3s being able to play it at once. You're going to be playing sets or runs of cards. You also have elements cards, and you have the ability to play a bomb, which is basically 4 of a kind. But the basic idea is you have your hand of cards, and when you play your cards, when your cards are beaten, you take them back into your hand on their blue side. So when you play a hand of cards, assuming there are only white cards in play, if you get beaten, you get them back on their blue side, which results in an interesting tension in the game where you're trying to decide, are you trying to win the current set, or are you trying to get beaten so you can get them back, resulting in stronger cards for the next time it's your turn to play something. There's a constant balance of when you're actually trying to shed your last hand and start the next set, or when you're trying to lose, and players are playing into that balance, resulting in an interesting tension of reading the cards, reading the players, and trying to figure out how you're going to win the game, well, better than the other players. Winning the game is just winning the game. Better is, I guess, you already won. That's the basic idea of Panda Spin. It's all about spinning the cards in your hand. I like the game a lot. I gave it a 3.5. My only real criticism, but it's one that held it back for me, is that it's kind of the same game every time you play. Granted, depending on the player count, you have different spirits in play, but I haven't found that majorly shifts up the game. The different spirits you have, it doesn't change up the game feeling for me. It's basically the same structure of what you're doing, and minor adjustments to a few of the cards don't change that up. But then Mandate of Heaven comes along, and this one is totally changing up the rounds. You see, at the start of each round, you're going to reveal a mandate. And a mandate is going to give you a way that you can get a special ability, and there's 2 ways to do it. The most basic way is just playing a set that has that animal. So if you play a bid that has that animal in it, you can activate the mandate. The other way is basically drawing cards and discarding that animal. So it's kind of swapping cards in your hand, which is also an interesting choice as well because it gives you the ability to gamble on drawing a better card for your hand while also benefiting from the mandate. So there's 2 ways to activate these mandates, and both of them provide an interesting strategic choice as to what you're going to do and how you're going to manage your hand. And this mandate is going to be in play for the current trick, for the current round as you try to get rid of your cards. And then from there, you'll move ahead to the next mandate and have a new ability that's in play. So this is basically Panda Spin, but with something new that's shifting up the gameplay every single time you play. Just to give you some basic examples of what these do, I'm not going to heavily focus on everything, but to give you some basic examples, this one over here, the bunny, this is incredibly powerful. But again, keep in mind that all players are playing with this incredibly powerful bunny and trying to take advantage of its abilities. This one is discarding 3 cards from your hand. So when you activate this mandate, you get to discard 3 cards. Time that right, you can do it at the end of the round and hopefully get rid of a bunch of cards and clear your hand faster than the players. Then we have this one over here. I'll just go through a few of these. This one is almost the reverse of the bunny in the sense that it's going to force the other players to draw cards. So the other players are going to draw cards, adding it to their hand. Then we have over here, we have this one, which will basically just give you points. It gives 2 points to you, 1 point to every other player who's still in the bid, and then 0 to anyone else who exited the bid at the moment. And then we have this guy over here. This one, the horse, lets you draw a card from the previous bid into your hand. So you have the opportunity to basically take take the opportunity card of someone else's bid into your hand. And then let's do one more over here. This one over here lets you extend the value of the length of a set or run. Basically, normally you have to play the exact same amount of cards as another player, but this one allows you to do a +1, giving you more flexibility over what you play, as well as ramping up and accelerating the bid. There's 12 of these mandates. We can go through them all. They also have helpful little play rates for all of these in case you need, and they have one for each player, so everyone has the ability to look at them. But the iconography is usually pretty straightforward, so if you've done them like once or twice, you already know what they're doing. And again, you only have to know 1 for the entire cycle of cards that you're playing. That's what Mandate of Heaven is doing. It's giving you 12 abilities that you're only going to see in a typical game of Panda Spin. You'll see maybe 2 to 4 of them in a round because you only play till 15 points, which means you're playing through 2 to 4 hands, I would say, which means you can play a full session of Panda Spin 3 or 4 times before you've even engaged with all of these spirits, all of these mandates in the game. That's the basic idea of what it's doing. How do I like it? Well, it's basically just a step up for Panda Spin. I don't have anything more complicated to say. This makes Panda Spin better because it makes Panda Spin more variable. There is one potential downside to the experience, and It hasn't been a big issue for me so far, but it certainly can be an issue, which is if your hand of cards just has more of that spirit than the other players, you have the ability to possibly activate mandates more often than other players, and that's not inherently self-balancing over the course of the game. You could be the one who has the most of that animal each of the rounds you play, and in some cases it's not a huge deal. In some cases it absolutely can be. In some cases, like that bunny over there, if you have the flexibility to activate it multiple times compared to other players, that will just give you a stronger, well, ability. It's just you have more opportunities. So that's the only real complaint I have against it. I think, and it is a reasonable complaint. I think that this introduces an element of imbalance to a game that, don't get me wrong, you could always say it comes down to the hard hand you're dealt, but I do think there's a lot of strength over how you play your hand. When it comes to the mandates, you can't really control much for whether you have those or you don't. It's not like how you play your hand. You either have the ability to activate those abilities or you don't. And how strong those abilities are, that also varies. So like sometimes, the fact that you got to do it 3 times and I got to do it twice isn't a big deal. Other times it can be a huge deal based on either the situation or just stronger effects. So again, I think if you want Panda Spin in its cleanest form without imbalance, I think base Panda Spin is going to be better for you. For myself, I prefer the expansion. Yes, it introduces that potential imbalance of a player being able to activate things more, but I like the variable player powers that effectively not player powers. I like the variable power that's in play each round that makes the experience more variable for me. So for me, this bumps Panda Spin from a 3.5 to a 4 out of 5. As far as what the expansion doing, like meaning it bumps Panda Spin to a 4 out of 5. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. I hope you found this review helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.